Good morning. This is Ms. Billerbeck, and we're going to talk about 7.2 in Singapore Math 6, percentage of a quantity. So unlike percent, which is usually written using the simple percent, the percentage is an amount. So one equation that rules all equations in percent is this one. It's just a proportion. We want to do a percentage ratio equals the percent ratio. So percents go on this side, amounts go on this side. So we always compare the original amount to 100%. It's also considered the of number. What is 2 of 10? What is 3 out of 40? So the of number, the number that comes right after of, is the original amount. So the new amount, like the 2 of 10, so 2 would go up here and 10 would go down here. So 10 would be compared to the 100%. 2 would be compared to the new percent. So that's how all percents can be organized with this one equation. So let's see how we would use this. All right, so we have find the value 70% of 220. So if we set up the ratios, our of number is 220, which is the original number. Okay, we do not know what 70% is yet of 220 in an amount, but we can find it by writing 70% over 100%. And now we have a ratio because 220 is 100% of the total. So percents are going to cancel. So we can rewrite this as X over 220. And since we have percent on top and bottom, we can just write 70 over 100. Okay, we can take that out because 0 over 0, 10 over 10 is just 1. So now if we just multiply by 220 on this side and 220 on this side, we have 220 over 220, which is also 1. So now we have X equals 7 times, and then we can, well, let's write this like this. 7 times 220 over 10. And we see we have another opportunity. My dots here are multiplication, by the way. So we see we have another opportunity to take those zeros off. So now we have 7 times 22. So 22 times 7, 14, carry the 1. 7 times 2 is 14 again, plus 1 is 154. So we have 154 over 1. Now we can ask, how many ones are in 154? Well, there's 154. So that's our answer. Okay, so if we set this up for this, we have the of number, the number that comes after of. So that's going to go down here to 32. That's going to be compared to 100%. Okay, then the 75% goes over the 100% because this is the percent ratio. And we're still trying to find that new amount, that's 75%. Now we can reduce this by dividing top and bottom by 25. And the percents are going to change or go away because there's a percent up there, percent down there. So, and remember, ratios are unitless quantities. Okay, so there are 3 25s and 75 and 4 25s and 100. All right, so now let's go ahead and look at this equation that we have. So we have X over 232 equals 3 fourths. We multiply by 232 here. It's called a multiplicative inverse, by the way, which you'll learn about later on. Okay, if I have 232 over 232, then that cancels out. So then I have x equals 3 times 232 over 4. Now, it would be awesome if this was divisible by 4. And it actually is. So there is 1 4 here. And if we divide 232 by 4, we get 5 here, which is 20, and 32 here, which is 8. So we can cancel this out and make it a 58. Now, all we have to do is multiply 3 times 58. So, quick little multiplication, and we get 3 times 8 is 24, carry a 2. 3 times 5 is 15, plus 2 is 17. So this becomes 174 over 1, and there are 174 ones in 174. So the answer then is just going to be 174. All right. So let's look at the next one. So we have 8.5% of 100 kilograms. Oh, and you know what I have been missing? Oh, this is terrible. I'm missing units. So this is 174 millimeters, and this is $154. So remember, we're dealing with amounts when we're dealing with percentages. So let's not forget our units. So now our units are going to be kilograms. So let's not forget. The F number is 100 kilograms. So we're going to put that on the bottom. And we're going to compare that to 100%. Now this is going to be rather easy because we have 100 here, 100 here. And we have 8.5%. So that's 8.5% here. And our X here. Well, if we multiply by 100 on both sides, that's going to cancel that one because 100 divided by 100 is 1, and 100 divided by 100 is 1. So we get X equals 8.5, and now we're talking about kilograms and not percent. So that's how we'll do that one. Okay, so this is your basics. I'm sure there's an easier way to teach it, you varying the one equation that rules all equations. New amount over original amount equals new percent over 100%. But this equation is only one equation that you have to remember, and it works for all percentages. So make a percentage ratio, or the amount ratio, equaling a percent ratio. All right, so let's do some problems, real life problems. All right, so Luca had $500. He spent 87% of it on a video game system. How much money did he spend on the system? So he had $500. So that's his original amount. So we don't know what he spent, but it's going to be that mysterious number we will find. And so we're going to compare $500 to 100%, and he spent 87% on that original video game. Okay, so then all you have to do is multiply by 500 here, 500 here. Okay, 500 divided by 500 is just 1. And we can take 2 zeros off. Well, there's a 100 and 100, and there's 5 here. So now we have a very easy equation to solve. So 1x, which is just written x, equals 87 times 5 because the percentage is canceled. So 87 times 5. So 5 times 7 is 35, and then carry a 3. And then 5 times 8 is 40, plus 3 is 43. And we are talking about dollars. So he spent $435. Okay, so if we were looking at a bar chart like this, and this was 100% right here, and inside here is 87%. Okay, but the total here is 100. So you could use the bar chart and look at it like this. But again, if you just use this one equation that rules all percentage equations and just figure out where to put your X, you're set for life. Okay, so what percent is 18 out of, oh, this is the F number, 90. So we're given 18, which is the new number. And that's the hardest thing when you're given two numbers, is to figure out which one's the original number. So you look for this of word. So 90. So keywords are going to tell you which is the starting value or the original value. So we're comparing 90 to 100%. And look, the X has changed positions. Now we're trying to find the percent. All right. So we're going to multiply 100% on this side, multiply 100% on this side to find that percent. Okay. So now, because 100% divided by 100% is 1, by the way. Okay, so we look at this, these both have 0, so let's cancel a 0 out. So let's rewrite this. We have X equals 10 times 18 over 9. And wait, we have more canceling opportunities. How many 9s are in 18? There's 2. So we can cancel the 9s out. So it's almost like a Where's Waldo game where you're trying to figure out how can I reduce this before I multiply to make my life so much easier. Okay, so 10 times 2 is 20. Let me write that out so you see what I'm doing, because there's a lot of cancellation going on. 10 times 2 over 1. So we have 20 over 1. We ask how many ones are in 20. There are 20 ones in 20. So we have 20%. So 18 out of 90 is 20%. All right, so here we go. 44% of the tennis balls are yellow and the rest are white. If there are 350 tennis balls, how many are white? So we know that the original amount of tennis balls is 350. We're going to compare, we will compare that to 100%. And we have 44% are yellow, and they're asking how much are white? Well, we just take 100. Well, we can write it right here. We have 100% minus the 44% is going to tell us which ones are white. So let's use W instead of X for white. So these are the white tennis balls we're finding. Okay, so now we need to figure what that is. So that appears to be 56. So 56% on top. So let's rewrite this. So we have W over 350. Actually, let me just rewrite right here so it's not confusing. So this becomes 56% over 100%. Okay, the percents are top and bottom, so they're canceled. So we're just looking for items, which are white tennis balls. So let's rewrite this in a nice, neat way. So we have white tennis balls over 350 equals 56 over 100. So this time we might have more trouble canceling, but let's see what we can find. So let me put this a little higher up. Okay, so since I have 350 top and bottom, I can cancel that. So I get the W by itself. So if I multiply here on this side, I had to multiply on that side. I can also take a 0 out of here and here because I have a 10 over a 10. So that's equal to 1. So now I have to actually multiply 56 times 35. So let's do 56 times 35. So our first one, let me make some room so you really see how to do this. 56 times 35. So this line, the first line's 5 times 56. So 5 times 6 is 30, carry a 3. 5 times 5 is 25, plus 3 is 28. The next line is 30 times 56. So I have a 0 here. 3 times 6 is 18. And 3 times 5 is 15 plus 1 is 16. So I have 0, that's 16, 9, 1. So that's 1960. All right, so I'm going to make some room here since I messed everything up over here. So let's rewrite this. We have W equals, now we know what 56 times 35 is, and that's divided by 10. So we end up with 196, or 1960 over 10. And look at that, we have a 0 on the top and the bottom. So we know that there's 196 ones. If we divide 196 by 1, that equals 196. Because there's 196 ones and 196. So we have 196 white tennis balls. Okay, so that's how we would do that. Now, again, if we used a bar chart model, we could go like this and say, oh, hey, this is 44% is yellow. 56 white, and we know that the total here is 350. So that's how you would set that up as a visual of what we're actually doing, because altogether 44 plus 56 is equal to 100%. All right, so once you set it up like this and you use the equation, that works for all percentage equations. Okay, so this one we're given a percentage, and here's the of word, and it says of what number? Ooh, it's not giving us the original number. It's asking what number. 35% of what number is 189. So of is right here. So this is my original number. We need to know what it is. We don't know it this time. Okay, so that changes the position of the X. So we know that this is the new number here. So 189 goes here, but we don't know what this number is. So look for keywords to know which number goes where, because the biggest mistake is to put the 189 down. below. So we want to know what is 100% of this if 35% of something is 189. Okay, so this is going to be a little harder to do in this situation. So we're going to do cross multiplication. Okay, with cross multiplication, we notice that they both have percentages, so we could take that out and not worry about it. So this is 35 times x, so 35x. And then we have 189 times 100. Okay, to get rid of this 35, all we have to do is divide by 35 because 35 is multiplying with the x. So the opposite operation is dividing by 35 and dividing by 35 here. So that cancels here and here. So we have x equals, and then we have 189, 18,900 over 35. Okay, so we have 35 here. And we have 18,900. So we ask how many, well, let's round this to 40 and ask how many 40s, and we'll round this to 190, 189. So how many 40s are in 190? So that's our question right now, because there's no 35s in 18. So we had to ask how many 35s are in 189. So when we ask how many 40s are in 190, we could also ask how many 40s are in 19, which makes it even easier. Well, there's 4 40s in 190. So let's start with a guess of 4 and see how that works. So then we multiply 4 times 35. So 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 3 is 12 plus 2 is 14. And we subtract, and it looks like we might be able to fit another one in there. So we can go with a 5. And it's okay to guess wrong and try again. So let's change that to a 5. But at least you only guess twice this way if you make an educated guess. So 5 times 5 is 25, carry 2. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17. So when we subtract, we get 4, 1. We drop a 0 down. So we ask how many 35s in 140. Well, we know that's 4 because we just did it. Or yeah. Okay, so we have 4 times 35. So 4 times 20, and that's 140, and we have a 0 here. And then we are going to go ahead and put another 0 here. And that gives us 540 for our new number. So, all right. So the answer to this would be 540. So x equals 540. So that would be 35% of 540 is 189. All right. This has so many examples, so it is a long one. So fasten your seatbelt. Okay, so then of the scholars studying a foreign language, 55% of them study Spanish and the rest study French. So if we do those little bar charts that Singapore Math likes, we have 55% are speaking Spanish or studying Spanish, and the rest of this 100% are not. Okay, so that means that we have 45% are studying French. Okay, because 55 plus 45 is 100. All right, so if 99 scholars study Spanish, so we have 99 scholars here. How many scholars study French? So we don't know. Okay, so first we're going to have to find the total amount of scholars, aren't we? Or we could set this up a little differently. Do you notice how this is compared to 45% and this is compared to 99%? So this might be one where we actually do a ratio that might be a little different from the one that rules all percentage equations. And so we'll do it an easy way, and then I'll show you using the other equation. So X over 99. So we want to know how many French are studying French, scholars studying French. There you go, came out. Okay, so that's relating to 45% of the scholars, but the Spanish scholars, there's 55%. So we're just going to compare it like that. Now to get the 99 here, I have 99 on the top, so I multiply, and 99 down below. All right, so that cancels. So there's 199 and 99. So that's 1 over 1. So now the percentages also cancel here. So we need to multiply 45 times 99. So 45 times 99. And whoops, let me do it like this. So 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 4 is 36, plus 4 is 40. And then we're going to multiply by 90 this time. So it's going to be the exact same thing. And we add together. So we have 5, 5, 4, 4. All right, so if we rewrite this as X equals 4455 divided by 55 now. Now, it might have been a better idea had I reduced some of these 5s before we started. And actually, let's do that because these are getting kind of big, to do all this. So let's do some reducing so you understand the joy of reducing the problem before you start. So we see this has an 11 in it, which leaves out 5. This has 9 11s in it. That reduces it to 9. Okay, so then this has 1 5 in it versus this has 9 5s in it. So now we have X equals, that's 9 times 9 over 1. So that's just 81 over 1, which is 81 scholars. Now that's so much easier than doing this, okay? So believe it or not, this is going to equal 81 when we do it. Okay, so the joy of canceling out common factors means you don't have to multiply doing this and then dividing by big numbers. Okay, so I mentioned that you could set this up in a different way. Okay, so if we find the total amount of scholars, we can also solve this problem, but we're going to use a different variable for X for the total, and then I'll show you how to do this. Okay, so if I have 99 scholars study Spanish, and I don't know the total amount of scholars, so let's write. The total scholars will be S. Okay, that's going to relate to the 100%. Okay, here we are going to put 55% because that relates to the Spanish scholars. All right, so this is an S and not a 5. So maybe let's use a different letter because S always looks like a 5. Let's use total for a T. So that'll be a cursive T. All right, so we can take the percents out. We can also cross cancel. or cross multiplying, not cross cancel, we're cross multiplying. So that's 55t equals 90 times 100. Okay, so then we're going to divide by 55 to get the t by itself. Oops. So 55. So we cancel this, that's 1. We cancel that, that's 1. Now let's just start reducing. Oops, this is 99, not, that's 99. Like, where is my 11? So that's 99 scholars. There you go, 99 scholars studying Spanish. Okay, so I'm going to reduce that, take an 11 out of that, that's 5, that's 9. Then I have 1 5 here to take out and 20 to take out here, because 20 times 5 is 100. So now T, the total scholars, is 9 times 20, and that equals 180. Okay, so total scholars is 180. So then we just subtract to find the French scholars, which are X. So we're going to take 180 and subtract the 99 from that. So that becomes 7. So I have 1 and 81. So then X is still 81 that way. So there's 2 ways you could have done it. Set it up using this, or use the equation that rules all the percent equations and set it up according to 100% right here. So this is the equation that rules all equations, or percentage equations, that is. Okay, so, and wait, there are more. Percentages are so important in our life. So after an 18% discount, the price of a bookshelf is $45.92. What's the original price? The original number right here. So we want the original price, so that's P for the original price. It goes down there and it compares to 100% right here. So we know that it's an 18% discount. So we're going to take 100% and subtract 18 from it. And when we do that, the price of the bookshelf is $45.92. Okay, so we need to figure out what 100 minus 18 is. So it's almost 100 minus 20, which is 80%. So that's 82%. And the percents are going to cancel because it's top and bottom. So that's what we have. All right, so we want to multiply. I'm going to erase this part, and so we can do a cross multiplication. So we have 82 over 100. And so now we're going to cross multiply. So we have 82 P equals $45.92 times 100. Well, when we multiply by 100, that moves this decimal 2 spots. So now we have 82P equals 45. We're dealing with dollars, so we don't want to forget that. So we want to keep that dollar sign there. So 45.92 when we multiply that 100 through. So now I need the 82 to move away from the P so we can find out what the price is. So if I divide by 82, since it's multiplying there, that cancels it because 82 divided by 82 is just 1. So now all I have to do is divide 4,592 by 82. So we can do that. So 82 divided by and dividing 4,592. Okay, so we don't have any 82s and 45. So now we have to ask how many 82s and 459. So it might be easier to say how many 8s are in 45. So that gives us about 5 of them because 6 is 48. So let's try 5. So this line will be 5 times 82. So 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 8 is 40 plus 1 is 41. So we subtract, we have 9, and this one's 4, and we drop this down, we get 2. So this one we actually might get away with doing 8, but it might be just a little too much. So let's try, 6, so 6 times 2, oh, it'll work perfectly. So 6, so let's try 6 times 82. So 6 times 2 is 12, carry a 1. 6 times 8 is 48, plus 1 is 49. Yay, isn't that sweet? It came out nicely. Okay, so the price originally was $56 even. So there we go. All right, so now let's talk about, there are 240 people on the train. If the number increased by 15%, how many people are now on the train? So the original amount was 240. So if we set up 240 equals 100% right here. And we increased the amount of people by 15%. So we had 100% of the people, but now we're adding 15 more percent. So we want to know how many people are now on the train. So this is going to be 115% over 100%. We're going to cancel those percentages out. Now, let me rewrite. Well, so we can multiply by 240 here to knock out that 240 there. Okay, so we're multiplying by 240 here as well, and multiplying by 240 here. Okay, so there's 1 240 here, 1 240 there. So now P is by itself here. We can cancel a 0 here. And now we're going to just multiply this top one here to figure out, can we cancel another 0 out? Which I believe we can when the dust settles. So let's multiply 115 over 24. Oh, I have a way to do this right now. Okay, we can take a 5 out of this, which leaves 2. And if we divide this by 5, we get 23, because there's 2 5s and 11 carry a 1, and then there's 3 5s and 15. So now I can take this out and make that a 1 and make that a 12. And now we're only multiplying 23 times 12, which is not so bad. So let me write this out. So we have 23 times 12. This is the joy of cross canceling. Okay, so if we multiply that, we will have our answer. So 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 2 is 4. Then we're multiplying by 10, so we just have 230. So this gives 672. So we have 276 people on the train. Okay, so that's our final answer there. All right, last one. Okay, so hopefully by the end of this, if you're still watching, because this is a long one, you will be a ninja at percentages. Okay, after including a service charge of 10%, the price of the meal was $68.20. There we go. What was the original price of the meal? So we don't know the original price. So we know that the P is going to down below and will be compared to 100% on this side. Okay, so we know that we added 10% service charge to the 100%. Okay, and after that, the price of the meal was $68.20. Okay, so this is going to be 110% over 100%. So that cancels. We can take a 0 out here, and then we will cross cancel. So let me go ahead and rewrite this so we can do some cross canceling. So that gives me 11 over 10. Okay, so we have this, we have that. So that gives me 11 times P. 11 times P equals $68.20 times 10. So that's going to move the decimal over 1. So I have 11P equals 682, because the 0 is going to not matter. Then we're going to divide by 11. So P equals, then that gives me the price of the meal. There's six 11s and 68 with 2 left over, and then 2 11s and 22. So the price of the meal is $62. Okay, so the last one is if you are giving the wait staff a tip for $35, what will it for a $35 dinner, what will it be? So you just move the decimal over 1 spot. So $35, you just move the decimal 1 spot. So if it was $35, you move it right here, boom. So 20% is just this times 2. So $3.50 times 2. So that gives you $7. Okay, so tips are really easy. If it's a 10% tip, just move the decimal 1 spot over. And then if it's a 20% tip, multiply that by 2. All right, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.